Good morning, everyone. How are you? Happy New Year. This is our class, our Organization Management Theory. In this class, we will discuss why organizations exist, how they exist, uh, leaders of organizations, but we're not really going to focus on the individual. We're more focused on their impact on the organization as a whole. We'll also talk about why it is so hard for organizations to change, even when they know when they need to. So, like for example, um, uh, Abercrombie and Fitch for a long time was like, we're only going to have clothes that are for relatively small people, and I mean small relative to the population size, physical size in the U.S. And we just have a certain look. Until they realized, wait a minute, we're supposed to appeal to the so-called cool kids, I mean teenagers, but our population has grown up, and the teenagers now think Abercrombie and Fitch is quite passé. And so it took them a long time to say, wow, we need to broaden our clothing line to fit, to attract more customers. So anyway, the firm has had a lot of problems. My point is that we know that human beings have a tough time changing. So obviously anything that's run by humans, made by humans, organized by humans, and so on, is going to have a tough time changing, even organizations. So that's what our focus is going to be on. As you know, since many of you had me before, late work is not accepted. All work is due on the designated discussion board forum on Fridays by 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I strongly suggest that you complete all your work 2 days before it's due, just in case something happens with your technology, you get called away from work, or called away to work, something happens. But late work is not accepted. Okay. For this assignment, this is your first assignment. It's due on January 24th by 12 p.m. Central Standard Time on the discussion board. Let me interrupt myself, actually. Before I talk about the first assignment, many of you know this, but I want to reiterate this. You're responsible not only for the information in the syllabus, you're also responsible for the information in the announcements on Blackboard. People who had me before know my announcements are pretty detailed, and I'll typically give information about an assignment, give even more details about an assignment on the announcements. So you are required to read the announcements and the syllabus, and your assignment content needs to reflect what's in the syllabus and in the announcements. So for example, unless otherwise stated, all assignments typically require an organizational example, and I don't care what the organizational example is. So for example, when we talk about one reason why organizations change, I don't care what industry you're talking about. I just gave the example of Abercrombie and Fitch. If you're into sports, sports are businesses. So for example, one could argue that the NCAA is having a very tough time changing in terms of their lock on players' inability to capitalize financially on their work, although the NCAA capitalizes quite well. So anyway, I don't care what industry it is, but as you know, organizational examples are required, and you need to be sure that you read the syllabus and the announcements every single week prior to submitting your work. Alright? Okay. So, for your first assignment that is due on January 24th, you're going to post a video. And the video is actually going to talk about something, it's individual, but I think it's something that everyone needs to know how to do. And that is a salary negotiation. See, so often we're very good at explaining why we should get the job or become a manager or something like that. But then when it comes to talk about money, we freeze. And then when we don't get what we were looking for, we get mad at the organization, but really need to be mad at ourselves, because did we do our homework? Did we fight for it? Were we assertive? So on and so forth. Alright. And remember, nobody owes you anything, and you don't owe anyone else anything. And so just like it's up to the organization, to me, to fight to try to keep you if they value you, or if you have your own company, for customers to patronize your business if they feel like you're a good business, well, the opposite is also true. You have to be willing to fight for those customers that you want, just like you have to be willing to fight for that money that you're looking for. And I mean fight, obviously, in a very professional way, of course, but you understand the larger point. So you're going to actually engage in a salary negotiation. It could be where you're looking for a raise, or it could be you just finished a job interview, you've been offered the job, and now you guys are negotiating money. That's fine. But here's what I do not want. Do not tell us what you are making now. It is not our business what your actual salary is now. So don't do that. The only thing I'm asking you to do is to give a range of what you're looking for. So, for example, if you're going to do a mock negotiation where you've been offered a job, then you may say something like, I'm looking for $20,000 more than I'm earning now. If you're looking for a raise, then you can say the same thing. You know what I mean? But don't give us your actual salary now. Alright? Now, in the interest of time, your video will not exceed 3.5 minutes. What that is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Your video will not exceed 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And it will be sure that the timestamp of the video is visible so I can see it. You will lose 5 points for every second that the video exceeds 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay? So I'm going to give an example first, and then just to give you an example of what I'm looking for. My example is going to be seeking a raise. Okay? All right. Hi, Dr. Johnson. How are you? I'm doing well. Well, I wanted to schedule the meeting today because I'm requesting an increase in my salary. And let me explain to you why. As you probably know, I've really enjoyed my time here at the Jesse H. Jones School of Business. It has been an outstanding experience, and I'm very appreciative of you and Texas Southern for affording me the opportunity. However, within this time, I have made some significant contributions. Number one, I've had 14 referee journal publications, 3 of which are in top journals. This is a significant accomplishment, namely because, as we know, publishing in top-tier journals often requires research assistance, reduced teaching load, and so on, neither of which I've had at TSU, such as one they get at much larger schools or schools with more financial resources. Yet and still, I still have been able to publish in top-tier journals. Second, I've also published a book. My first book was written in 2010, and in fact, I'm under contract now to write a second book, which is what I am working on at this time. Now, in terms of teaching, I actually have the documentation here with my average teaching scores for the past 8 years, and they generally have exceeded a 4.0. Obviously, there are a few occasions where it has not, but that is not the norm. The average is exceeding a 4.0, which is a good teaching record. And then third, in terms of service, as we know, professors, it's part of our job to serve on committees and so on. But I have done things that are above and beyond simply my committee assignments. So, for example, last year you specifically requested that I serve on a compensation committee, and I did a fair amount of research with regard to the average rate of the compensation that was under discussion. I shared that information with the committee, and it did form the basis for the eventual compensation that was decided. The other thing I did, I've done just little things. For example, when Dr. Ramsey retired, I hosted and organized her retirement party. And I was asked to do that, and I gladly did it because I really enjoyed it. In addition, I am the advisor for the Graduate Student Association, and within that time we've had a number of really excellent speakers and had some really, really good events, and I have participated in reviving the student activity in the organization, and in fact have led those efforts. So my point is that in terms of service, I also have gone above and beyond the call of duty in that regard. So what I'm actually seeking is an $18,000 raise, and I would like for it to be effective now, but if not, I'm willing to accept it being effective, say, 6 months from now. And of course we would have that in writing. Okay, yes, I do understand that the organization has been in some degree of financially, has faced a degree of financial problems. However, I also know that Texas Southern is an outstanding school, and I know that it values its professors who really make an effort to not just do what they're supposed to do, but to go above and beyond that. And as you can see from my record, I do have a good record, and I'm certainly willing to stand by that. Well, okay, 18,000 may be a challenge. I understand that. I am willing to accept 12. Okay, so you're saying the highest that you could go could possibly be 9. Okay, so here's what I am willing to do. And again, I appreciate that. But if I were to accept $9,000, a $9,000 raise, well, then there are other things that I am interested in as well. So, for example, I would like an increase in personal days. An increase in 5 personal days in addition to the $9,000 raise. I understand you have to think about it. That's fine. Why don't we agree to meet on this again in about a week? So today is January 31st, so we can meet again on what was that? January 2nd, or I'm sorry, forgive me. We can meet again on January 9th, and certainly I'll look to have a decision at that time. And again, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to have the discussion. I've enjoyed my time here at Texas Southern University, and I believe that Texas Southern University and you are interested in retaining its faculty talent. Because certainly it's been an outstanding experience here, and I have made a substantive contribution. And the last point is that the amount that I'm asking for is in line with the going rate within this area for professors of my tenure and with my record. It's obviously lower than, for example, the professoriate in the Northeast, where I am from, or even the West Coast, but that's fine because obviously the cost of living here is much cheaper as well. But I have done my homework with regard to the average amounts, and certainly I have that documentation here, in addition to the documentation, just 2 pages indicating all of my accomplishments thus far. I do hope to be able to continue to make these sorts of contributions to Texas Southern. So, okay, I will see you next Tuesday, and presume that we will have a decision on this at that time. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay, everyone, that's what I'm looking for from the video. And again, 3 minutes and 30 seconds is fine. Once again, notice I did not give my actual salary, I just gave a range that I'm looking for. And the reason why I mentioned personal days too is because money comes in all forms. So for example, you may want more salary, but you may also want more personal days. You may want more vacation days. You may be happy if you get some flex time. You may be, or like if this is an initial negotiation for a job that you're just getting, you may want moving expenses. My point is that you need to know what are all the things that you would be willing, that you are interested in beyond just a dollar amount, because all those other things are money as well, and you should certainly have that as part of your negotiation. So okay, that's what I'm looking for. It is due on January the 24th by 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, no later. And I certainly look forward to your videos. Have a great day. Bye.